Rain fell hard over the city that night. The streets were empty. Only one club stayed open, glowing with red and gold lights. Inside, music was loud. People were dancing. Nobody noticed the man standing alone near the bar. His name was Damien Cross. He was the most feared man in the city. People called him the Mafia King. He never smiled. He never trusted anyone. His eyes were cold like ice. But tonight something felt different. He did not know why he came to this club. He never went to clubs. He hated crowds. But something pulled him here, like fate itself was calling his name. Then he saw her. A young woman was standing near the window. She wore a simple blue dress. Her hair was wet from the rain. She looked lost, like she did not belong in this loud, dangerous place. Her name was Elena Rhodes. She was not from this world. She was just a normal girl, a nurse who worked long hours at the city hospital. Tonight, her friends had dragged her out to celebrate her birthday. She did not want to come. But now, standing here, she felt strange. Her heart was beating fast, and she did not know why. Damien walked toward her, slowly, carefully, like a wolf watching its prey. But this time it was different. He was not thinking about danger. He was not thinking about business. He was only thinking about her eyes. They were soft, brown, and full of light. Nobody had eyes like that in his world. "You look lost," he said. Elena turned. She saw him. Tall, dark suit, sharp jaw, cold eyes that suddenly looked warm when he looked at her. Her breath stopped for a second. "I am lost," she said with a small laugh. "This is not really my place." "It's not mine either," Damien said quietly. They talked. They laughed. For the first time in years, Damien forgot who he was. He forgot the blood on his hands. He forgot the enemies waiting to kill him. He forgot the empire he built with fear and fire. For one night he was not the Mafia King. He was just a man talking to a woman who made his heart feel alive again. Outside, the rain grew heavier. Elena felt like she was in a dream. This stranger felt familiar, like she had known him for years, though they had just met. She did not know his name. She did not ask. She did not want reality to break this moment. They left the club together. They walked under the rain, laughing like children. Damien took off his jacket and put it over her shoulders. For a second their eyes met. And in that second something changed forever. That night they shared something neither of them planned. A connection. A closeness. A memory that would haunt one of them forever, and completely disappear from the other. The next morning, Elena woke up in her own bed. Alone. Confused. Her head was spinning. She remembered flashes, rain, music, a tall man, warm eyes, but nothing clear. She told herself it was just a dream. Just her mind playing tricks after too much wine. She never remembered his face. But somewhere across the city, in a cold penthouse office, Damien Cross sat alone, staring out the window at the rain. He remembered everything. Every word. Every laugh. Every second of that night. He had never opened up to anyone before. But last night he did. And she disappeared before he could even learn her full name. He clenched his fist. "I will find her," he whispered to himself. "No matter how long it takes." His men noticed the change in him. Damien Cross, the man who never cared about anyone, was now searching every corner of the city for one woman. A nurse. A stranger. A girl in a blue dress who did not even remember his name. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. Damien never stopped looking. He placed men outside hospitals. He checked every camera near that club. He used every power, every connection, every dollar he had. His enemies thought he was losing his mind. His allies thought love had made him weak. But Damien did not care. Every single day he waited. Every single day he searched. Because somewhere in this city, the only woman who ever made him feel human was walking around, living her life, completely forgetting that he existed. Meanwhile, Elena's life moved on. She worked her shifts. She helped her patients. She laughed with her friends. But sometimes late at night she felt a strange pull in her chest. A feeling she could not explain. Like someone somewhere was thinking about her. Like a piece of her memory was missing. She did not know that soon her ordinary life was about to collide with a world of danger, power, and secrets. She did not know that the man she forgot would never forget her. And she definitely did not know that very soon, Damien Cross was about to walk right back into her life. Not by luck. Not by accident. But because he had found her. The city hospital was busy that morning. Elena Rhodes walked through the hallway holding a folder of patient files. She looked tired, but she smiled at every patient she passed. This was her world. Simple. Safe. Predictable. She liked it that way. She did not know that her simple world was about to break into pieces. Outside the hospital, a black car stopped near the entrance. The door opened. Damien Cross stepped out. He wore a dark coat. His face was calm, but his heart was pounding harder than it had in years. He had waited months for this moment. He had searched every street, every hospital, every camera in the city. And now, finally, he was standing outside the place where she worked. His men had confirmed it. Elena Rhodes, nurse, 26 years old. No family drama, no criminal connections, nothing that linked her to his dangerous world. Just an ordinary woman with an ordinary life. That made her different from everyone else he knew. That made her precious. He walked inside. The receptionist looked up and felt a strange fear the moment she saw him. Something about this man felt powerful, dangerous, like he owned the room without even trying. "I am looking for Nurse Elena Rhodes," Damien said, his voice calm but firm. The receptionist swallowed hard. She is on the 3rd floor, sir." Damien nodded and walked toward the elevator. Every step felt heavier than the last. He was a man who controlled an empire. He had faced guns, knives, betrayal, and death without blinking. But right now, walking to see one woman, his hands were shaking. On the 3rd floor, Elena was checking a patient's chart when she felt it again, that strange pull in her chest. Like something was pulling her attention away. She looked up and her breath caught in her throat. There he was, standing at the end of the hallway. Tall, dark coat, sharp jaw, eyes that looked straight at her like she was the only person in the world. She did not know his name. She had no memory of that rainy night. But something inside her chest reacted instantly, like her heart remembered him even if her mind did not. "Can I help you?" she asked, walking toward him slowly, her voice steady but her heart racing. Damien looked at her for a long moment. He wanted to say so many things. He wanted to ask why she forgot him. He wanted to ask if she felt anything at all when she looked at him. But he stayed calm. He had learned patience the hard way. "I need a private consultation," he said. "For a family member. It's urgent." Elena nodded, professional as always. "Of course. Please come with me." She led him to a private room. As they walked, Damien studied her carefully. Her walk, her voice, her small habit of touching her hair when she was nervous. All of it felt painfully familiar, like pieces of a memory he had lived 1,000 times. Inside the room, Elena turned to him. "What is the situation?" Damien paused. He looked into her eyes, the same eyes that had kept him awake for months. "Actually," he said slowly, "there is no sick family member." Elena blinked, confused. I don't understand." "I needed to see you," Damien said, his voice quieter now. "I have been looking for you for a long time." Elena took a step back, her nurse instincts telling her something was wrong. "I think you have the wrong person. We have never met." Damien's chest tightened. Those words hurt more than any bullet ever could. "We did meet," he said. "Months ago. At a club during a storm. You wore a blue dress. We talked all night. We walked in the rain together." Elena's face went pale. Flashes appeared in her mind, rain, music, laughter, a tall stranger, but nothing clear enough to hold on to. That was just a dream," she whispered. "I don't remember any of that clearly." "It was not a dream," Damien said firmly. "It happened. And it changed my life." Elena's hands trembled slightly. Something about his voice felt true, but her mind refused to accept it. She had a normal, safe life. She could not accept that a stranger from her hazy memory was standing in front of her, claiming to know her deeply. "I think you should leave," she said, though her voice lacked full confidence. Damien took a small step closer, his eyes never leaving hers. "I will leave if that is what you want. But I need you to know one thing, I am not here to hurt you. I am here because I never stopped thinking about you. Not for one single day." Elena's heart pounded. Every instinct told her to call security. But another part of her, a part she could not explain, wanted him to stay. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. A message from her friend, "Emergency. Meet me outside now." Elena hesitated, looking between her phone and the mysterious man in front of her. "I have to go," she said quickly, stepping past him. Damien did not stop her. He watched her leave, his jaw tightening. He knew this was only the beginning. He knew she would resist. He knew her mind would fight against feelings she could not explain. But outside, unknown to both of them, a car was waiting. Watching. Following Elena's every move. Men who worked for Damien's biggest enemy had already noticed his visit to the hospital. And now, Elena Rhodes, an innocent nurse who remembered nothing, was about to become a target in a war she never knew existed. Elena ran out of the hospital, her heart still racing from the strange conversation. Her friend Maya was waiting near the parking lot, her face pale and worried. "What's wrong?" Elena asked, catching her breath. "There was a man," Maya said, glancing around nervously. "He was standing near your car. He asked weird questions about you. Then he just left. It felt wrong." Elena's stomach twisted. First the stranger inside the hospital, now this. Something was happening and she did not understand why. Meanwhile, Damien sat in his car outside the hospital, watching everything through his driver's mirror. His phone buzzed. A message from his most trusted man, Victor. "Boss, we spotted Kane's men near the hospital. They know about the girl." Damien's jaw tightened. Kane. His biggest rival. A man who had been trying to destroy Damien's empire for years. If Kane knew about Elena, it meant only one thing: she was now a weapon Kane could use against him. Damien clenched his fists. He had promised himself he would never involve innocent people in his world. But love did not care about promises. And now, because of him, Elena was in danger. He stepped out of the car and walked straight toward Elena and Maya. "Get away from her," Maya said sharply, stepping in front of Elena. "I'm not here to hurt her," Damien said calmly. "I'm here to protect her." Elena stared at him, confused and scared. "Protect me from what? I don't even know you." Damien sighed deeply. "There are people who saw me talking to you. Dangerous people. They will use you to hurt me. You need to trust me even if you don't understand why." "This is insane," Elena said, backing away. "I'm calling the police." "Please," Damien said, his voice suddenly softer. "Just 5 minutes. Let me explain everything. After that, if you want me gone, I will disappear from your life forever." Something in his voice made Elena hesitate. Maybe it was desperation. Maybe it was the way his eyes looked almost broken. Against every warning in her mind, she nodded slowly. 5 minutes, she said. Not 1 second more. They sat in a small coffee shop nearby, Maya watching closely from another table. Damien spoke slowly, choosing his words with care. "My name is Damien Cross," he said. "I run a business empire that many people fear. I have enemies, powerful ones. Months ago, on a rainy night, I met you at a club. That night meant everything to me. I never stopped searching for you." Elena's hands trembled around her coffee cup. "Why don't I remember any of this?" "I don't know," Damien admitted. "But it doesn't change what happened. And now these enemies of yours," Elena said slowly, "they know about me?" Damien nodded. "Yes. And that makes you a target. I need you to be careful. I need you to let me protect you." Elena stood up suddenly, her chair scraping against the floor. "I have a normal life. I have patients who need me. I can't just disappear into your world of danger." "I'm not asking you to disappear," Damien said. "I'm asking you to trust me just a little." Before Elena could respond, a black SUV screeched to a stop outside the coffee shop. 3 men in dark suits stepped out, moving quickly toward the entrance. Damien's expression changed instantly. "Elena, get down. Now." Maya screamed as the men entered the shop, their eyes scanning the room. Damien pushed Elena behind him, positioning himself between her and the danger. "Cross," one of the men said coldly. "Kane sends his regards. He wants the nurse." "She has nothing to do with this," Damien said, his voice low and dangerous. "That's not what our boss thinks," the man replied, taking a step closer. Elena's heart pounded so hard she thought it would burst from her chest. This was real. This danger, this fear, this was actually happening. Damien moved fast, faster than Elena thought possible. He knocked one man down instantly while shouting for Elena to run toward the back exit. Chaos erupted in the coffee shop. Customers screaming, chairs falling, glass shattering. Maya grabbed Elena's arm, pulling her toward the back door as Damien fought off the remaining men. Elena looked back for just a second, watching this stranger, this dangerous man, fight to protect her without hesitation. They escaped through the back alley, running until they reached Maya's car. Elena's hands were shaking uncontrollably as she got inside. "Drive," she said. "Just drive." As the car sped away, Elena looked out the window, her mind racing with questions. Who was this man really? Why did fighting for her life feel so strangely familiar? And most importantly, why did some small part of her heart feel safe, even in the middle of all this danger? Behind them, Damien stood in the destroyed coffee shop, blood on his knuckles, watching the car disappear into the distance. He had promised to protect her from a distance, quietly, without involving her directly. That plan had just failed completely. Now there was no more hiding. No more secrets. Elena Rhodes was now fully inside his dangerous world, whether she wanted to be or not. And somewhere across the city, Kane smiled coldly as he received the news of the failed attack. So, he muttered to himself, the great Damien Cross finally has a weakness. Interesting. Elena sat in Maya's small apartment, wrapped in a blanket, still shaking from what had happened. Her hands trembled every time she thought about the men in dark suits, the screaming, the broken glass. This was not her world. This was not supposed to be her life. You can't go home tonight, Maya said, pacing back and forth. Those men, they know your face now. It's not safe. None of this makes sense, Elena whispered. Yesterday my life was normal. Today I'm running from criminals because of a man I don't even remember. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. Elena, Damien's voice came through, calm but tense. Are you safe? No thanks to you, she snapped, though her voice cracked with fear rather than anger. I know you're scared, Damien said. I know none of this makes sense to you. But I need you to listen carefully. Kane will not stop. He knows you matter to me and he will use that. You need real protection, not just Maya's apartment. Elena closed her eyes, frustration and fear mixing together. So what, I just trust a stranger because he says so? You don't have to trust me, Damien said quietly. Just trust that I will keep my promise to protect you, no matter what you decide about us. There was a long pause. Elena looked at Maya, who nodded slowly, silently telling her it was okay. Fine, Elena said finally. But I want answers. All of them. You'll get them, Damien said. I'll send a car. It's the only way to keep you safe tonight. An hour later, a black car arrived outside Maya's apartment. Elena hugged her friend tightly before stepping outside, her heart pounding with uncertainty. The car drove her through quiet streets until it reached a large, modern house surrounded by high walls and quiet guards. Damien was waiting at the door when she arrived. For a moment they simply looked at each other, the tension between them heavy and confusing. Welcome to somewhere safe, he said softly. Inside, the house was elegant but simple, nothing like Elena expected from a man people feared so much. Damien led her to a quiet sitting room, offering her tea, which she accepted with shaking hands. Start from the beginning, Elena said. Tell me everything. Damien sat across from her, his expression serious. My family has run this business for 3 generations. It's not something I chose, not exactly, but something I inherited. There are rules in this world, alliances, enemies, blood debts that never disappear. And Kane? Elena asked. Kane wants what my family has built. Power, territory, respect. He has tried to take it from me for years through violence, betrayal, every method possible. Now, he sees you as a way to hurt me where I'm weakest. Elena wrapped her hands tighter around her teacup. Why does he think I matter to you? We only met once and I don't even fully remember it. Damien's eyes softened. Because that one night changed something in me. I've spent years building walls around my heart, trusting no one, feeling nothing. Then I met you and for a few hours all of that disappeared. I've been searching for that feeling again ever since. Elena's chest tightened at his words, though her mind still fought against believing them completely. But I don't remember any of that. How can something matter this much if I can't even recall it? Maybe your mind forgot, Damien said gently, but maybe some part of you still remembers even if you don't realize it. Elena looked away, uncomfortable with how true that suddenly felt. The strange pull she'd felt in her chest for months, the unexplained feeling of missing something, it was all beginning to make a strange kind of sense. Suddenly Victor rushed into the room, his face urgent. Boss, we have a problem. Kane's men attacked one of our safe houses. 2 guards are down. Damien stood immediately, his calm demeanor shifting into something harder, more dangerous. Handle it. Increase security here. Nobody gets close to this house. Victor nodded and left quickly. Elena watched the exchange, realizing fully now just how dangerous this world truly was. This is real, she whispered. People are actually getting hurt because of this war between you two. Yes, Damien admitted. And I'm sorry that you've been pulled into it. That was never my intention. Elena stood, walking toward the window, watching guards patrol outside in the darkness. What happens now? Now, Damien said, standing beside her. You stay here until it's safe. I know it's not the life you wanted, but I promise, I will end this war before it destroys anything else. Elena turned to face him, searching his cold, tired eyes for any sign of dishonesty. She found none, only exhaustion and a strange, quiet desperation. Why does this feel so complicated? She whispered. yet somehow familiar at the same time? Damien took a small step closer, his voice barely above a whisper. Because somewhere inside you, Elena, I think you already know the answer. Before either of them could say anything else, the lights in the house suddenly went dark. Alarms began blaring through the hallways. They're here, Damien said sharply, pulling Elena behind him instinctively. Kane found us. Darkness filled the house. The alarms screamed through every hallway. Elena's heart pounded so hard she could hear it in her ears. Damien gripped her arm firmly, pulling her away from the window. Stay close to me, he said, his voice low and controlled despite the chaos. No matter what happens, do not let go of my hand. Elena nodded, too scared to speak. Outside, she could hear shouting, footsteps running across gravel, and then gunshots. Her whole body flinched at the sound. Victor burst into the room, holding a gun, his face tense. Boss, they've breached the east gate. At least 10 men. We need to move her now. Damien nodded sharply. Take her through the tunnel. I'll hold them here. No, Elena said suddenly, surprising even herself. I'm not leaving you here alone. Damien turned to her, his eyes filled with something between shock and quiet emotion. Elena, this isn't the time to be brave. Go with Victor. Please. You said I should trust you, Elena said, her voice shaking but firm. So trust me right now. I'm not running while you stay here to die. For a brief moment, despite the danger surrounding them, something passed between them, an understanding, a connection neither of them could fully explain. Fine, Damien said finally. Stay close. Do exactly as I say. They moved quickly through the dark hallway, Victor leading the way with his gun raised. Shadows moved outside the windows. Shouting grew louder. Suddenly the back door burst open, and 2 of Kane's men rushed in, weapons ready. Victor fired first, taking down one attacker instantly. Damien pushed Elena behind a large wooden pillar, shielding her body with his own as gunfire erupted around them. Elena screamed, covering her ears, her mind unable to process the violence happening just feet away from her. When the shooting stopped, silence took over the room. Damien slowly stood, checking for more threats. Victor stood over the second attacker, breathing heavily but unharmed. Clear, Victor said. But there's more outside. We need to move now. Damien helped Elena to her feet, his hands gentle despite the danger surrounding them. Are you hurt? I'm okay, Elena whispered, though her body was shaking uncontrollably. Just scared. I know, Damien said softly. I've got you. I won't let anything happen to you. They moved quickly through a hidden passage beneath the house, finally emerging into a quiet underground garage. Victor helped Elena into an armored car while Damien took one last look back toward the house, making sure no one followed. As they drove away into the night, Elena sat quietly, her mind replaying everything that had just happened. The gunfire. The fear. The way Damien had protected her without hesitation, like her safety mattered more than his own life. Why did you do that? She asked quietly. Why risk your life for someone you barely know? Damien looked at her, his expression tired but honest. Because somewhere along the way, protecting you stopped feeling like a choice. It became something I simply had to do. Elena looked down at her trembling hands. This is insane. A week ago, my biggest worry was a difficult patient at the hospital. Now I'm running from gunmen in the middle of the night. I never wanted this for you, Damien said quietly. If I could take away the danger and keep only the good parts of knowing you, I would. Elena turned to look at him, studying his tired face carefully. Tell me something. That night we met, what happened? All of it. I need to understand why my heart still reacts to you, even when my mind doesn't remember. Damien took a deep breath, his voice softening. We talked for hours. About everything and nothing. You told me about your dream of becoming a nurse, about wanting to help people who had no one else. I told you things I've never told anyone else, about the weight of responsibility, about being tired of a life built on fear and violence. Elena's chest tightened, something about his words feeling strangely, impossibly familiar. We walked in the rain, Damien continued, laughing like the world outside didn't exist. For one night, I wasn't the man everyone feared. I was just myself. And you made me feel like that was enough. Tears formed in Elena's eyes, though she could not explain exactly why. Why can't I remember any of this clearly? I don't know, Damien admitted. But I do know this. Whatever happened that night was real, Elena. And it changed both our lives forever, whether your memory holds on to it or not. The car finally stopped outside a private airfield. Victor stepped out first, scanning the area carefully. We need to leave the city for a few days, Damien said. Until it's safe. I have a private place, quiet, secure. Will you come with me? Elena hesitated, staring into his tired, honest eyes. Every logical part of her mind screamed that this was reckless, dangerous, insane. But something deeper, something she could not fully explain, told her to trust him. Okay, she whispered. I'll come. As they boarded the private plane, neither of them noticed a hidden camera capturing their departure, sending live footage straight to Kane's private office. Kane smiled coldly watching the screen. Run all you want, Cross, he muttered. But there's nowhere in this world you can hide her from me forever. The private plane landed on a small island far from the city. The air felt different here, quiet, calm, free from the noise and danger of the world they had left behind. Elena stepped outside, feeling the warm breeze against her skin for the first time in days. This is beautiful, she whispered, looking at the ocean stretching endlessly in front of her. It's the one place Kane doesn't know about, Damien said, standing beside her. My grandfather built this house long before the business became what it is today. It's always been a place to escape, to breathe. They walked along a quiet path toward a small house near the beach. For the first time since they met again, there was no danger chasing them, no gunfire, no fear. Just silence, ocean waves, and two people slowly learning to understand each other. That evening they sat together on the porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. Elena finally felt her body relax, though her mind was still full of questions. Can I ask you something? She said quietly. Anything, Damien replied. If I never remember that night fully, if my mind never gives me back those memories, will that change how you feel about me? Damien turned to look at her, his eyes calm and certain. No. Because what I feel isn't about a memory. It's about who you are now, sitting right here beside me. Kind, strong, and unafraid to stay when running would have been easier. Elena smiled softly, something warm spreading through her chest. Slowly, carefully, memories began surfacing again, small flashes at first. The rain. His laugh. The way he had looked at her like she mattered. Wait, she whispered suddenly, her eyes widening. I remember the rain. I remember you telling me you hated crowds, but you couldn't leave that night. Damien's breath caught. Elena. I remember your jacket over my shoulders, she continued, tears filling her eyes. I remember feeling like I had known you forever, even though we had just met. The memories rushed back, one by one, filling the empty spaces in her mind. She looked at Damien, overwhelmed with emotion. It's really you, she whispered. It was always you. Damien reached for her hand gently. I told you. Some things don't disappear even when memory tries to hide them. For the first time since that rainy night, they allowed themselves to simply be together, without fear, without danger, without the weight of the world pressing down on them. But peace never lasts long in a world built on power and revenge. 2 days later, Victor arrived with urgent news. Boss Kane knows about the island. He's planning something big. We need to move now or fight him directly. Damien's jaw tightened. He had hoped to protect Elena from this reality a little longer, but running was no longer an option. It's time to end this, Damien said firmly. No more hiding. No more waiting. Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear in her chest. I'm not staying behind this time. Whatever happens, we face it together. Within hours, Damien's men prepared for the final confrontation. Kane, confident and arrogant, arrived at the island with his own men, expecting an easy victory. But Damien was ready. The battle was fierce, gunfire echoing across the beach, chaos erupting between two powerful forces fighting for control. Elena stayed close to Victor, watching anxiously as Damien fought directly against Kane himself. Kane sneered, raising his weapon toward Damien. You should have stayed hidden, Cross. Now you'll lose everything, including her. You've spent your whole life trying to take what belongs to others, Damien said coldly, standing firm. Today that ends. In a swift, decisive move, Damien disarmed Kane, ending the confrontation before more blood could be spilled unnecessarily. Kane fell to his knees, defeated, his empire of fear finally crumbling. With Kane's forces scattered and defeated, silence finally returned to the island. Elena ran toward Damien, relief flooding through her as she saw he was safe. It's over, Damien said quietly, holding her close. It's finally over. Weeks later, life slowly returned to a strange new normal. Elena continued her work at the hospital, though now protected quietly by Damien's most trusted men. Damien worked to rebuild his empire into something built less on fear and more on respect and loyalty. One evening, as rain fell softly outside her apartment window, Elena opened her door to find Damien standing there, holding a familiar dark jacket. "It felt right to bring this back to you," he said with a small rare smile. Elena laughed softly, tears of happiness in her eyes. "You waited for me every single day, didn't you? Even when I couldn't remember you at all." "Every single day," Damien confirmed. "And I would have waited 1,000 more if that's what it took." As the rain continued to fall gently outside, Elena stepped forward and hugged him tightly, finally feeling complete after a journey that began with forgotten love and ended with a bond stronger than memory itself. Some connections, it seemed, were simply too powerful to ever truly disappear.